love is not enough. Love is never enough. In fact, love cannot be enough because love is not a fact. It is a state of mind. We can love someone dearly and just walk away from that person because there's so many reasons. And this new series, I will talk about why love is not enough. And I will give you example of my authentic personal life. Why love of anything towards anyone is never, ever enough. My first love, my biggest love, my very true love was God. Because all I heard since I was a little kid is God loves you. You must love God. You must fear no one but God. So I was raised into this doctrine of, discipline, and what I do not regret. Because of that, I didn't fall in love like I saw so many younger women falling in love. No, I didn't say I was perfect. No. I say I didn't fall in love like so many younger girls would fall in love at that time. They fell in love with this singer, this movie star, this all these. Of course, I was in France, so it's only the French actors like Alain Delon. Everybody knows Alain Delon and his beauty. And a singer, Johnny Hallyday. Everybody in France knows who's Johnny Hallyday and Claude François. At this time, they were the the younger man that every girl would be so crazy about. But because of my grandmother and my mother, it was not just once in a while. It was every day. The Bible, the Old Testament, let me precise, that the Old Testament was on the table and it was read, of course, by one of my uncles. But it was always on the kitchen table, so whenever I would behave like a kid, or it would be my grandma would remind me that, that God loves me. But there were a issue with this love of God and this doctrine that I was brought into. My mother, who was Jewish as a young, and my father, who was Catholic as a young as well. So I did follow both religions. And when I talk about I follow both religions, I really, really follow them to the T. I don't say I didn't make a mistake. No. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't trash my body around. But I did have a boyfriend, like when it was time. I did, but I didn't smoke. I didn't have the feeling or needed the need to do all the things that I was seeing around me, all the drugs and being in the show business. That's all you see. It was no different then than it is now. Now it's more open. Everybody does. So, but then it was not that open. But thanks to my grandmother, and thanks to my mother, and thanks to my father that they brought me these doctrines so to follow, and these two magnificent religions that have so much wisdom, so much kindness, so much understanding, be able to understand yourself so you can understand somebody else. So for so many years I thought I was in love with God. Then it was different, because as a Jew, you go to the synagogue and all the women, they go upstairs with all the women, and then the men they sit with each other downstairs. And you listen, you listen to the word, of course, of the words of God, and you listen to everything that's been said. And then it was time that I would go to the Catholic Church, to the cathedral. And there was a difference because men and women would be with each other, and I kind of liked that. It was, more like everybody was included. And then I fell in love with Christ. Now, who would fall in love with Christ? Well, why not? Who would not fall in love with Christ? That's my question. Who would not? Who would not fall in love with someone that is kind, someone that is loving, someone that is telling you to follow his Father and to love one another? Who would not do that? So for many, many, many years, I thought, okay, when I grew up, I really wanted to be a nun. So since I followed both religion, it was kind of not difficult. It was one reaffirming in a different ways the other one valued doctrine. Judaism, very, very strict, so many things that I could not do. And the Catholicism, it was just loving one another. And these days, not as strict. And so my mother sent me to the camp every year. When summer, I would go to those Jewish camp. It was just like in the army. And it was very tough. I think that the discipline and the wisdom that they teach you, the right and wrong, and it comes with everything. It comes with eating, it comes with exercise, it comes with the way you carry yourself, what you say, how you say, your house, the cleaning. It just go on, and it just really fits very nicely as a puzzle. That, if God is above you, and if God is above me, and I'm right here, for God to come, these are the words of my grandmother. Your house must always be ready, because your house is the house of God. You must have enough food for you. You must have enough food for your family, but you always need to have something left to invite friends. So I remember my grandmother who always had friends. I remember that. And that is not something that I forgot. But it's another thing that very important is God does not only enter your house, it enters your body. And for God to be in your body must be clean. Your mind must be clean. So for many, many, many years as a young girl, I thought when I grew up, and then I went also, of course, at the Catholic Church. My mom sent me to the Catholic Church, and I did my primary communion, and I even went as high as you can go in the Catholicism, as high as you can go to become a nun. And then I realized that the word, the words of my grandmother, you know, you were born a Jew, you're always a Jew. And I say, I'm sure that Christ understands that. So I didn't. I didn't become a nun. But that was my dream. My dream was to go on and save the world and wanted to go to, I was born in North Africa, but I wanted to go to West and South Africa because this where the poverty, the need, that needed more love there. And I thought God gave me so much love inside that I can go and save them, help them. But it didn't happen, of course. It didn't happen because I never, I did go to, not South Africa, but I did go to West Africa with my grandmother, but not for that reason. We used to go to get my shoes because my shoes were made by a professional booter, so someone who would make very nice shoes. But one of the discipline that I've learned from my grandma and my family is even though that we were wealthy, we were not rich, we were wealthy. We had a lot. We had a lot. We had a nice home, we had food, we had friends, we had cows, and we had all kinds of things that are, and these days it really mattered. And these days they were the jewelry that we wear right now. That's if you had lots of cow and lots of horses and lots of goat and lots of chicken, and then you were very wealthy, yes. But the things that I have learned came from not knowing when I was wealthy. They didn't want us to know that we had. So we were raised humble. We had a good home. We ate good. Everything was homemade. In fact, I never ever had anything made until I was 13 years old. This is when I got into the show business and I became a professional performer and travel all over France, all over Europe. This is when I was away from eating the food that was cooked and made. I never had even noodles. Noodles was homemade. Bread was homemade. Everything was homemade. But that, in these days, that was the wealth. The family together. Every Sabbath, everybody would come and we would sit and we would have this big feast and we will make this wonderful dinner. And that's what I remember. But I will tell you that will be a very long video. That's why I decided to make this a series. that why love is never enough. We want more because we're not perfect. We're human. And life does not sit still. It doesn't sit still. Things are moving. There's technology. We need to have fun. We can't function without fun. Obviously we can't, because this is how I'm reaching out to you today with this phone. So this I think this is important, that the message that I want to share, that love is never enough. Love of God was not enough because I want more. I wanted to have someone to talk to. I was always the one to speak. Did I ever see God? No. But did I ever felt God? Yes. Did God ever answer to me? Physically speaking, no. But did God granted my wishes? Yes. In fact, I have said this to every single one of my children, my daughter, and my grandchildren, that I have never ever asked anything to God that He never ever gave to me. It was at the precise time when I needed the most. And I knew that came from above. It didn't come from a man, it came from above, because it came unexpectedly, suddenly. I need something. It was many things that I need, and there it was. When I asked God that I wanted to change my life, that I wanted to change everything, that I want to forget about my name, that I want to forget about everything, I don't know what was into my young mind of 17 or 18 years old. It was too much. I think it was too much and too fast. The show business is a very fast pace. You don't have time to grow up. You grow up very fast on the stage, and the lighting and the musician and the people downstairs, and you get this feeling inside that put you suddenly you're on a pedestal. It's very easy to lose yourself. One of the things I didn't want is every day when I start making money, and I was making lots of money at a very young age, because I was not just a singer. I sang, I danced, I act, but one of the most important is I was able to read music. So I was not just this girl that would just sing anything, any key, anyhow. I was able to read music, and also was very gifted, talented, gifted from God that He gave me. And He gave me at the right place at the right time, and I every day that I would see the wealth right in front of me, one of my biggest fear was, please God, don't let me forget you. Don't let me forget who I am. Don't let me become one of them. I didn't want to become like everybody. I was afraid because I was very young. And it's very destructive. you're on a stage and you work so hard for so many hours, and at the end of the show they don't bring you water, they bring you champagne, they bring you wine, they bring you beer. It was not easy, I was thirsty, but I did. I said, God, please help me. Every single day I would say this to myself. Please, God, help me understand myself so I can understand other better. And that is the message that I'm going to leave you today. Because of course this is a long video, and this is going to be a series. Love is not enough. Love is not enough. Physical love has nothing to do with love, my friends. That don't get lost in this. Don't fall in love with the image, with the picture, with the speech, with the voice. Don't. We do have to be aware of the way we speak. We do have to be presentable, and we do have to be, in this modern world, we do have to take care of ourselves. Physically, we should be always presentable. If you want to be in public, you should be presentable. But don't fall in love with this idea of love. First, fall in love with God. That is my message to you today. And this is Chantal Pons. I see you next time. Au revoir, merci, et do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget, of course, do not forget to give a like. It would be no reason for me to create this video if you're not watching it, if you don't want to see more. What would be the purpose for me talking to you? Au revoir, à bientôt, c'est Chantal. Merci. Au revoir.